Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we are jumping straight into one of the most, let's say, frustrating debates in modern nutrition, red meat.
hmm
Our listener asked about this because it's just a source of constant confusion.
Mm.
Is it a health powerhouse or is it some kind of dietary villain?
It is so confusing.
Yeah.
And I think the sources we've looked at really show that the confusion comes from a profound oversimplification.
Right.
And this happens everywhere, even in major health studies. The reporting just tends to lump together three, vastly different products.
And what are those?
Well, you have what you might call the gold standard, the 100% grass-fed meat. Then you've got your conventional grain-fed meat from industrialized farms.
Okay.
And then the third category is the highly processed meats.
They all look red, but nutritionally, they're not even playing the same sport.
Not at all.
So our mission today is really to cut through that noise and explain why this difference in sourcing, why it matters so fundamentally for your health.
So maybe we should just start with a really basic definition. Red meat is muscle meat from mammals. So beef, lamb, pork, bison, that kind of thing.
And that reddish color, where does that come from?
That's from a high concentration of myoglobin. It's an iron-rich protein, and its job is to deliver oxygen to muscle cells.
Got it. And the most crucial part here, I think, is recognizing that this category, not just a steak, it's the whole spectrum, right?
Exactly. It also includes all the processed stuff like cured bacon, pepperoni, deli meats, sausages. It's a huge category.
Okay, let's unpack this then. Let's, for a moment, just put the controversy aside and look purely at high-quality red meat. So from healthy, pasture-raised animals.
Mm-hmm.
The sources show that when it's prepared properly, this food provides massive nutritional support.
Yeah, and the first benefit, maybe the most foundational one, is the protein quality. Red meat is a complete protein.
Meaning it has all 9 of the essential amino acids.
All 9. The ones your body just can't make on its own.
And it's not just that they're all there, right? It's the usability of them.
The bioavailability, yes.
Yeah.
Your body can digest, absorb, and use them so easily as building blocks for everything.
We're talking muscle connective tissue.
Exactly. And enzymes that drive all your metabolic reactions, hormones that regulate everything from your sleep to your stress response. I mean, if you're active or just trying to stay healthy as you age, this kind of protein is it's almost irreplaceable.
So beyond the structure, it's also a micronutrient powerhouse.
Oh, absolutely. It's an
Okay.
excellent source of vitamins. B12 is the famous one, of course, but also B6, zinc, selenium.
And these are all key for what? Things like immune function.
Immune function, red blood cell formation, detoxification, just your overall energy production. They're critical.
You mentioned the iron-rich myoglobin earlier. Let's talk about the iron itself because this is fascinating.
It is. Pasture-raised red meat offers the highest levels of what's called heme iron.
Heme iron.
And to put that in context, heme iron is absorbed something like 2 to 3 times more efficiently than the non-heme iron you'd find in, say, spinach or beans.
And that efficiency is it's critical for people who might struggle to get enough iron.
It's vital. The research points out that for young women, pregnant individuals, athletes, people losing iron through sweat.
Or people with digestive issues.
Right, people with malabsorption issues. For them, that high bioavailability isn't just a nice bonus. It can be a medical necessity.
Okay, let's shift to performance and recovery. Red meat provides these key metabolic compounds that are, they're like energy boosters.
We're talking about carnitine, creatine, carnosine, and coenzyme Q10.
These sound like things you'd buy in a supplement bottle.
And they are, but they're naturally abundant in meat. And their roles are really specialized, like creatine, for example. We think of it for muscle building, but its main job is recycling ATP.
The energy currency of the cell?
Exactly, the immediate energy currency. So it allows for those bursts of power and endurance.
And what about carnitine and CoQ10?
Well, carnitine's job is to shuttle fatty acids into the mitochondria to be burned for fuel. And CoQ10 is an essential part of the final step in generating that ATP.
So for anyone who's highly active or even just dealing with fatigue,
consuming these in a whole food form can make a huge difference for endurance and recovery.
All right, and finally, let's tackle the fat. This is where I think a lot of the confusion still is. People hear saturated fat and they just run.
Right. But when we look specifically at high-quality pasture-raised beef and lamb, they contain some really beneficial fatty acids.
This is where the source of the meat changes everything.
It changes the entire profile.
Yeah.
You get beneficial fats like omega-3s and conjugated linoleic acid, or CLA. Both support cardiovascular and metabolic health.
Tell us more about CLA. You hear it touted in supplements, but what is it?
CLA is a naturally occurring fatty acid that's actually a type of, believe it or not, natural trans fat.
That sounds bad.
It sounds counterintuitive, I know, because we associate trans fats with industrial junk. But CLA is different. It's believed to have anti-inflammatory benefits, and it's produced in the gut of animals like cows and sheep, but only when they eat grass.
So the more grass they eat, the more CLA in the meat.
That's it.
And how does grass feeding change the overall fat ratio?
Oh, significantly. The research consistently shows that grass-fed beef has higher levels of omega-3s and, crucially, a much better omega-6 to omega-3 ratio than grain-fed beef.
And why is that ratio so important?
Because it's all about inflammation. Omega-6 fatty acids, you need them, but in excess, they tend to be pro-inflammatory, and our modern diet is swimming in them.
So the omega-3s are anti-inflammatory.
Exactly. So grain feeding skews that ratio weight towards the inflammatory side. By choosing grass-fed, you're helping your body keep that inflammation in balance.
And we can't forget the most infamous saturated fat of all, stearic acid.
We can't. Stearic acid is abundant in grass-fed meat, and the reason it's often called a healthy saturated fat is because of how it's metabolized. Well, unlike some other saturated fats, stearic acid doesn't typically raise LDL cholesterol levels, which is, the big concern. It's also a key structural part of our cell membranes. So you're not just getting protein, you're getting the right kind of fat to build resilient cells.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting for me. If the nutritional profile of quality red meat is so strong, why is there this relentless public health controversy? I mean, if you just read headlines, you'd think any red meat is a fast track to disease.
That's the critical point, isn't it? The sources we reviewed, they place the blame squarely on quality and sourcing. The controversy isn't really about red meat as a category. It's about industrialized meat.
The options that prioritize profit over nutrition.
Completely. And that brings us to the elephant in the supermarket, CAFOs, concentrated animal feeding operations.
Right. This is where most conventional meat comes from.
The vast majority. Animals are confined. They're fed these restrictive, unnatural, often GMO, grain-based diets, corn, soy.
A diet they were never meant to eat.
Not at all. And that practice has these cascading effects that just make the meat less nutritious. The stress hormones, the lack of nutrients in the feed.
And beyond that, the residues.
Precisely. Lower quality standards mean the meat is more likely to contain chemical residues from pesticides on the feed, or feed additives, or synthetic hormones used to make them go faster.
So that's bad enough for just a steak. But then you take that lower quality meat and you send it to be processed.
And that's where things really, really break down. That's the third tier of concern, the processed meats.
So they take this already diminished product
and they add filler ingredients, stabilizers, and a whole host of chemical preservatives. The big offenders here are nitrates, nitrites, and a lot of added sugar.
Why are those such a problem for inflammation?
Well, nitrates and nitrites, they're used for preservation. But when you heat them, like when you cook bacon or sausage, they can convert into compounds called nitrosamines.
And those are not good.
They're classified as probable carcinogens. And then the added sugar in cured meats just adds to chronic inflammatory stress in the body. It's just a double whammy.
So the application of this knowledge for you, the listener, is pretty clear. Nutrient density demands quality sourcing. If you want the omega-3s, the CLA, the antioxidants,
the quality of life that animal had dictates whether those compounds are even present. As one of our sources put it, your body can only rebuild with the raw materials you provide.
Okay, so if we're committed to maximizing nutrient density, we need a clear shopping list. What are the best types of red meat to look for?
You want to prioritize animals raised on their natural diet with high welfare standards. That means 100% grass-fed beef. Minimally processed cuts like a ribeye, chuck roast, ground meat.
What else?
Grass-fed organ meats are amazing, pasture-raised lamb or bison, and wild-caught game like venison or elk.
I think we need to hit that shopping tip again because the labels can be so misleading. What's the real difference between grass-fed and 100% grass-fed?
It's a huge distinction. Grass-fed can just mean the animal ate grass for part of its life, but was then finished on grains in a feedlot.
To fatten up quickly.
Exactly. If you want that superior fat profile and the antioxidants, you have to look for labels that say 100% grass-fed or grass-finished. That's your guarantee.
And the other big label is organic.
Absolutely. Certified organic and non-GMO helps you avoid the chemical residues from pesticides on the feed and the synthetic hormones. It's about maximizing the good stuff while minimizing the bad.
So conversely, the worst types are clearly coming from those factory farms.
Without a doubt. So that's all non-organic, grain-fed meats, and most of the processed meats you see in the deli aisle, bacon, sausages, hot dogs, unless you can find brands that are explicitly 100% pasture-raised and free from all those additives.
We have to acknowledge the trade-off here, though. I know a lot of people listening are thinking, this sounds great, but I can't afford it, or I can't find it.
And that is the reality. It's a significant investment. Pasture-raised meat is often double or even triple the cost of conventional. It really requires prioritizing it in your budget and maybe seeking out a local farm or a specialty butcher.
Okay, let's pivot to individual health cautions. Because even if someone is choosing the absolute best quality meat, the sources point out that some people still need to moderate their intake.
Yes, and the first one is all about digestion. Dense animal proteins, they require strong stomach acid to be broken down properly.
And stomach acid tends to decline with age.
It does. It naturally declines with age, and stress can make it worse. So a lot of people might find they feel heavy or bloated after a large portion of red meat, which means they're not absorbing the nutrients properly anyway.
If you can't break it down, you're not getting the benefits.
Exactly. The second caution is a rare one, but it's severe. Alpha-Gal syndrome.
The tick-borne illness.
Right. It's an allergy to a sugar molecule in mammalian products. And the reaction to eating red meat can be anything from hives to severe anaphylaxis. So it's something to be aware of if you live in a tick-heavy area.
And the final caution brings us right back to iron.
Yes, high iron content is great for most people, but it can be a problem for some. Individuals who already have high iron stores, maybe due to a genetic condition like hemochromatosis, have to be really careful.
Why is that?
Because your body doesn't really have a good way to get rid of excess iron. It can accumulate in your tissues over time and contribute to oxidative stress and even organ damage.
So what does this all mean for you as you're standing in the grocery store?
I think the takeaway is that the nutritional status of red meat, it's not a blanket statement.
No.
It is entirely dependent on how the animal lived, what it ate, and how that meat was processed. Pasture-raised meats offer a nutrient profile that just can't be matched by the other options.
So let's just synthesize the three key takeaways. First, a high-quality source provides that complete protein, B12, and that highly absorbable heme iron, all vital.
Second, pasture-raised and grass-fed is just nutritionally superior. It has healthier fats like omega-3s and CLA and more antioxidants to help fight inflammation.
And finally, factory-farmed and highly processed meats should really just be avoided. The combination of a poor nutrient profile, chemical residues, and inflammatory additives, it just negates any potential benefit.
Right.
The informed choice is about sourcing quality, not eliminating an entire food group.
And we covered that how often you should eat it depends on your activity level, your health goals, and critically, your own iron status. And this raises, I think, a really important question for you to consider.
Okay.
Given that so much of this conversation, both the benefits and the risks, revolves around iron, when was the last time you actually checked your personal iron markers? Specifically, ferritin, which tracks your body's iron stores.
Because it's not just about what you eat.
It's not just about what you eat, what your body actually needs. Understanding your own baseline is probably the single most important step in safely integrating any highly nutrient-dense food into your own personalized diet.